Hello, old school movie reviews. Welcome to the apocalypse. Today I have TNT Jackson from 1974. This movie stars Gene Bell as TNT Jackson. It was directed by, I think you say his name, Surreal Santiago, who's done, I guess, a ton of B movies, B movie action films, and things like that throughout the decades, throughout the 70s, 80s, and I guess early 90s. Film also stars, I guess you say his name, Chiquito as Joe slash Dynamite Wong, Stan Shaw as Charlie, who was one of the bad guys, and I guess the co-writer of this film, Ken Metcalf as Sid, who's kind of like the bad guy who's in charge of everybody else. And the movie was produced or executive produced by Roger Corman, who's a pretty infamous movie producer that, who's done tons of things throughout the 50s, 60s, and 70s and 80s. Various horror movies, action movies, drive-in movies, B movies, exploitation movies, and things like that. Let's see here. The plot is basically TNT goes to Hong Kong to find out what has happened to her missing brother. She meets up with Joe, who's a guy who kind of owns this sort of restaurant, I guess. And, he kind of knows everybody around, he's familiar with kind of the more shadier type people, whatever, and he agrees to help her find out what happened to her brother. I don't think I'm giving up too much away when I say that it turns out her brother has gotten killed, and maybe he got mixed up with these kind of underworld, these kind of mob, crime lord, drug lord type guys. Stan Shaw is Charlie, who's kind of one of the main bad guys, or I should say one of the head bad guys, right-hand men, and he's kind of involved trying to figure out, who this TNT person is and what she's up to, and it seems he's kind of got eyes on her, maybe she does not reciprocate, and at the same time, he's kind of got his own ambitions, and it's kind of interesting to see him kind of work all the angles and things. The movie, of course, follows TNT as she gets closer and closer to, finding out what happened to her brother and who's responsible and getting revenge. Lots of fights in this movie, lots of hand-to-hand combat. There's some pretty decent shootouts and things. Lots of martial arts. And it moves at a really quick pace. There's not a lot of lingering, not a lot of dead spaces or anything like that. It's never boring. It's just from one thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next thing. Interesting thing about this movie is really short. The physical copy that I own is it says approximately 90 minutes. This movie is like 72 minutes. It's an hour and 12 minutes. It's really short. But I think that works to its advantage. I kind of enjoyed the movie for the most part. I mean, obviously it's a film from the so-called black exploitation era. It's really low budget. You can see where they kind of cut corners and things like that. Not a lot of money. I mean, it just looks inexpensive, you know what I mean? But like I said, I dig it. It was pretty entertaining. The movie has this real kind of like, I guess you would say, I don't know, scrappy energy to it, It doesn't make any pretensions about, anything, It's like, here, you want an action movie? Here's an action movie. You want to see some fights? Here goes some fights. You know what I mean? I guess Gene Bell went on to do, various movies and TV projects. This is probably her most well-known thing. She does an okay job. It's pretty interesting that there's some places where her stunt double comes in, her fight double comes in, and it's just so obvious that it's not her, that it's like some little guy or whatever. It's almost funny, but it doesn't completely take away from the film. I mean, or it doesn't take away from at least those action scenes anyway. Another interesting thing is Stan Shaw, who like I said, plays Charlie. I guess in real life he actually has had some martial arts training, so most of his scenes seem really believable. They're convincing within the context of the film. I also would say he also he also probably delivers like the best acting in the film. And Stan is another guy who is became a well-known, I don't know, well-known is the word I want to use, but uh, uh, a a regarded or highly working character actor. I mean, when I saw him in the movie, I didn't know what his real name was, but I just recognized him from seeing him in various things on TV and the movies and things like that, just like over the years, He's one of those people where you go, oh, it's that guy. What else? Like I said, the acting is just good enough to work. Really quick pace, a lot of fun. Like I said, it's a low budget film, but I liked it. I had fun with it, and not in a snarky way. I mean, I genuinely enjoyed it, even though it's kind of a cheap movie. What else can I say about it? Oh, I think this is really interesting. If you look at the poster art, you've got TNT standing there. She's got the white bikini and her white fur cape on. There's like what looks like a vault door. Maybe it's a bank vault door. And, there's a stretch limo with some guy laying on it. You'd think maybe this is going to be like a caper movie or something. It's really interesting that there's no image remotely resembling anything on this art that's in the actual movie. And it makes me think about something I remember reading a while back about how a lot of B-movie producers of that time period and exploitation guys, the way they would get money for their movie is they have an idea for a movie, and then they get an artist to do a mock-up of like a fake movie or fake version of the movie, and then they would just go around and ask people like, oh, would you see this movie? Would you see this movie? What do you think this movie's going to be about? Would that be interesting? If this happened, would you want to see that happen? Would you see more of this or more of that or whatever? And then they go with their data, with their little polls or whatever, and then they would go to various investors or whatever, guys with money, and say, hey, you know what? I've got this project that I'm trying to get off the ground. 70% of the people said that they would see this movie, and 60% said that, and blah 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 blah, and most this percent of people 18 to 25 said they would see it twice if they liked it, and they would get people to invest in a movie that way. And then that's when they would like write the script and do everything and so on and so forth. I don't know that if that's what happened in this case. I really have no idea, but I mean, it just wouldn't surprise me. I just wonder about that, just because, like I said, the poster has nothing to do with the actual plot of the movie. What else here? Oh, the physical thing that I own has 4 movies on there, and like I said, the TNT Jackson section here, it has the movie, and then arbitrarily they threw in like a Casper the Friendly Ghost cartoon. It's just in there, And I just wonder about the packaging here. If this is one of those cases where you find out sometimes I don't know what the word for it is, but the legal rights to distribute, movies and TV shows and things like that, might have fallen into public domain or whatever. Like, maybe the TV people have these rights to show it up. The movie people have, the rights to distribute it on VHS or in the theaters or whatever. But nobody had like the actual DVD rights because the technology was new at the time, maybe, or whatever, or it fell through some loophole or something like that. But I wonder if that's what happened here, because this has, for what it's worth, it's got TNT Jackson, it's got the pilot to Get Crispy Love, it's got Sister Street Fighter, which was like a sequel to an old Sonny Chiba movie, and something called High Kicks, which I'd never heard of. I haven't watched the rest of these movies yet, but I just wonder if that's what happened with these. Okay, anyway, that's it. Like I said, I enjoyed the movie. I had a lot of fun with it, and not on a snarky way or anything like that. I just had fun watching it, even though, like I said, it's kind of a cheesy movie. But it is fast, quick, lots of action. So if you like action, you'll find something to enjoy about this movie. That's it. Tell me what you think, and you all have a great day.